And welcome to Hero Power. I'm your host, Avanties, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Zerotio.
Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Let's play Battlegrounds.
Yes. Hero Power, a Battlegrounds podcast. We are glad you were able to join us today. We don't have a whole lot of news to discuss. There is a little bit, and then as Zerotio so skillfully alluded to in the second half of the show, we're going to be playing some of this Battlegrounds beta live right here on the show tonight. So
Yes.
we're both really excited about it. We've both been playing in the beta since it dropped, I guess, last Tuesday. So, let's... we don't have any emails or iTunes reviews this week, so let's just kind of jump right into it. So patch 15.6 has dropped, and with it, we got the Battlegrounds beta, as well as the Deathwing hero, and the new pre-orders for Descent of Dragons. Now, we talked a little bit about this last week, but it is all here now and available for purchase. Zerotio, have you picked up a bundle yet?
Yes, I went ahead and got the $80 bundle so I could have the Deathwing hero because Warrior is so much fun to play right now. Sarcasm.
Yeah, right.
But I like getting the card backs. I like getting any portraits I can get. I'm a collector that way. But more importantly was I have access to early access because of the virtual ticket, and you get extra bonuses for having packs purchased. And the more importantly was if you have 20 packs purchased, we talked about this last week, you can have 3 options of your heroes when you're drafting at the beginning of Battlegrounds. And 10 packs allows you to have stats, which is just very simple right now. 20 lets you pick from 3 heroes instead of 2, and then 30 packs lets you have emotes. So I wanted to make sure to have those bonuses available to me in Battlegrounds when I started playing. So I went ahead and purchased that. And you did not get the virtual ticket.
I did not buy the virtual ticket, but I did buy the $80 pre-order.
So before we get into, the rest of the news, you've been very adamant not to spend any money on Blizzard products in protest to all the way going back to February.
Yeah,
when they laid off a lot of community managers. A lot of the
the entire Fireside Gathering team, basically, and a lot of the community management team. And I've not been real happy with the decisions that Blizzard has made this year. Large in part, I feel like Activision-based led decisions, and that's no secret. But this BlizzCon, I really felt like, hearing what J. Allen Brack had to say on stage before the event started made a lot of sense. They are doing what they can and doing the best that they can. And, even this week, we're still seeing fallout from the Blitzchung event. There was a New York Times did an interview with Jeff Kaplan, who is
Papa Jeff,
who is a very big, influential figure at Blizzard, and even he was speaking out against the company's decision, saying it was just wrong, and he was happy to see the decision get lessened, but he felt like it was still wrong, and it needed to be wiped away completely. And he was very much against the decision on a personal level. He said in the interview, he even said the reasoning behind the punishment was just completely attacking. He felt attacked on a personal level because of it, and I think that's the way a lot of people felt. And yes, we're happy that Blitzchung had his money returned to him. But, he's still out of Hearthstone for 6 months.
Yeah, and we've had this discussion before, but it's neat. Yeah. It's nice to have Jeff Kaplan come out and voice his opinion. And he did give Jay Allenbrack some praise from his message at BlizzCon and some of the retractions to the ruling that happened originally. And again, we don't know if Jay Allenbrack even had any hand in the initial reaction to it anyway. So I'm kind of happy with the changes, but the fact that you purchased the bundle leads me to believe that you at least have pulled a little reprieve on your boycott.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested in so far what I've seen of the cards that we went over last week. Descent of Dragons looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I will admit I have done nothing but watch Battlegrounds play on Twitch since BlizzCon, and it looks like a whole lot of fun. And I really kind of just wanted that Deathwing hero as well. So it was just like my wants and needs kind of outweighed my gut in this situation, I guess you could say. And I went ahead and pre-purchased the bundle so I could start playing Battlegrounds.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this your reaction to this and the fact that you purchased this, I've known you for over 20 years.
24 years, I believe.
24 years I've known you, and you tend to, once you make a decision to stand against something, it's hard to move you. And the fact that you have been willing to purchase this bundle says a lot towards the look of Blizzard right now, because you're once you decide you're not going to support something. I've seen you not eat at fast food restaurants for 10, 15 years because you don't like something about the company. Mm-hmm. So it's to me it means a lot to see this happen. So, and that's a positive thing. And Blizzard and Team 5 specifically are doing a lot of good things for the game. So I think the developers definitely deserve to get a good paycheck on this, and I don't mind throwing my money that way. As a matter of fact, they have they did patch 15.6 and immediately found some issues with the patch, and we're gonna talk about right now. So yeah, this is my way of transitioning.
Yeah, so why don't you lay out what issues have been discovered thus far?
So once patch 15.6 came out, I noticed, and a lot of the community very, very quickly noticed, you could not re-roll your quests. That was the big obvious thing.
I don't know if that was the big obvious thing. I think the big obvious thing is that everybody's bitching about not being able to squelch their opponent.
I actually didn't notice this because when you're in Battlegrounds, there really isn't a need to squelch because it's just emote-based and, picture emotes. Mm-hmm. And so for that reason, I don't squelch. I squelch when I'm on ladder sometimes if they're overly exuberant with their emotes. And I have not really played the ladder, so I have not seen this problem. But evidently, squelch went away. Mm-hmm. So that's something they have to fix. Memory optimization. Optimization. Wow, that's a word. Memory optimization for lower end mobile devices for Battlegrounds isn't supported. And so that is something that's going to be. That was something we knew about because they announced you had to have 2 gigabytes or more memory.
And there's also an issue with deck lists where certain cards are not showing up in decks. Like if you go to your collection, a deck you were just playing pre 15.6 which could be showing less than 30 cards. You open the deck list, remove the card, add it back, and it's fine.
So I figured out why it was doing this. For me, that I noticed, it's anytime you had 2 of a card that one was golden and one wasn't. then it would only register the non-golden, wouldn't see the golden. Now, if I had 2 copies that were golden, it was fine. If there's 2 copies that were non-golden, it's fine. But anytime I had one that was golden, one that wasn't golden, it would act like neither of those cards are there.
Not so fast, because I don't play golden cards.
Oh, really?
I disenchant all my goldens except for the basic ones that I can't disenchant. And okay. I don't run golden cards. And I'm having this issue on almost all of my decks, especially, like, take, for instance, my Secret Paladin. It was not showing my Mysterious Challengers in the deck as grayed out. So I had to remove them and add them back. So it's something bigger, and it's obviously a coding error. So, I mean, I don't know exactly. I'm assuming they are working on a patch that will come out in the next couple of days to fix these issues.
They already addressed that there will be a fix Monday or Tuesday. Normally they don't patch on Monday, but I guess if they find enough issues that are considered bugs, they'll do a hot fix. And a lot of times, those patches just come through real quick. You don't even notice them. And there's lots of different details. We left a link in the show notes to all the little small quality of life changes and stuff they're wanting to fix. But with 15.6, I want to go back just a second that I missed. They also added Sathrovar into the meta. That is the 9-mana 5/5 that allows you to take a friendly minion and give you a copy of it in the play, in your hand, and in your deck. So, have you played with this card yet?
I have, and let me tell you, using Sathrovar on an Azoth is a lot of fun.
Yeah? Yeah, I would assume so. I didn't even think about that.
I'm running it in a Res Priest in Standard with Hakar. And, it's a lot of fun. Because Hakar makes a valid target. N'Zoth makes a valid target.
So, my biggest issue with the card, and I put this in our... I rated it pretty low in our spreadsheet for our patrons. You can check out on our patron-only Discord. If you want to be part of that, you can go to patreon.com/heropower and join us. I didn't like it because it's 9 mana, and you really can't find, unless you do some Geppetto shenanigans, it's hard to find good use for it. But I actually added it to a deck and tested a couple games. The few times I didn't play Battlegrounds, it's really, really good in Holy Wrath Paladin. Because a lot of the times, your biggest issue with mid-range decks is keeping that sustain till you get to the point you have to blow your timeouts early, and then you don't have your timeouts to set up your Holy Wrath combo. So, but if you can play a Shirvala, and usually you want to play a Shirvala and banker him into your deck and save the other banker for the combo. But if you can play a Shirvala for 0 mana, then Sathrovar it, then all of a sudden you have 2 Shirvalas in play and another 0 cost in your hand. That's 3 rushing, 7 attack Divine Shield minions that give you a total of 21 health if there's enough targets on the board to attack. And that's pretty big. And I expect I'm going to take Thorson out of my Holy Wrath Paladin once he rotates out with when the new DOD comes out, Descent of Dragons, and I'm going to put Sathrovar in his place. And then, because I won't have to double up with a couple of the other cards, I'll probably put in other Descent of Dragons cards with it.
Okay. Mike Donay did send out a tweet specifically stating at the start of next week there'll be a small patch that they have already built before they had any data. And at the start of December, they will be doing a patch, adding a couple of units and balancing lots of Battlegrounds stuff. In between, they're also going to be adding 4 new heroes to Battlegrounds. So we've already got quite a few heroes in Battlegrounds. The thought of 4 more coming is pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think a lot of it is right now there's 24 and you play 8 players, so that's 3 each. So that means all of them get offered at one point. This will allow some float over so that not every game will at least have all 24 offered, and allow for some games where maybe the top tier hero doesn't even get offered to anybody. So you might not see, a Toki in the game, or you might not see AFK in the game.
Curator or AFK, yeah.
Yeah, so I like
Maleficent,
this.
or whatever her name is, Millicent.
Now, Mike Dene and Dave Kosak both also said during the BlizzCon and side interviews and with the Access Pass and one of the Angry Chicken interviews that they've already designed and set up a balance patch coming up that even before they knew what to balance, they've scheduled it and got it set up, which is what he's talking about. And then they already have other content patches with additional cards and so forth and so on already scheduled. Now, he said December. What else comes out in December?
Oh, the set, Descent of Dragons.
So Descent of Dragons comes out in December. One of the big asking points for Battlegrounds right now is all the tribes that are in there. There's a few different cards that give bonuses to dragons, and the only way you can have a dragon is with the amalgams right now. So they're like, please give us dragons. We need dragons. I think that's what the December patch is going to be about, putting dragons into the game. We might even see some actual Descent of Dragons cards in being put into Battlegrounds in December. And that'd be really exciting. So I'm super excited for that, and I want to give a shout out to Anjin-san in chat. What's up, brother? Yeah, developers need money too. Got to invest in Team 5. Thank you for joining us live. But I'm really excited. Battlegrounds just look like it has so much growth. I've looked at some of the cards that they haven't included and thought I'd love to have Blackwall Pixie in there. They're kind of mess with your hero powers and there's lots of cards, and they don't have to just pull from standard. They could pull cards from wild because they have. They just have to make sure it's a card that would work well in the Battlegrounds setup, which is a little different. Obviously, anything that draws you cards won't help and things like that. So I'm really excited for the growth possibility of Battlegrounds. You look at other auto battlers, and what else are they going to do? They're going to add more items? They're just going to add more characters? It's like if they add it, where are they going to add it from? What could they do? At least with Hearthstone, we can see all the potential of what they do. We can see the different cards that they didn't include that could work in Battlegrounds. So they probably have hundreds of cards that could work.
Right.
Now, do they just fatten the pool up? Do they take some of the ones that are in there out now? Obviously, there's some balancing that needs to be done. Because some things are 5 tier when they should be 6 tier. Some of the cards are 4 tier when they should be 5 or 6 tier. So I'm really, really not only excited for Battlegrounds, I'm excited to see pro players play with Battlegrounds.
Yeah, and we're going to get to see that real soon. 2 days from now, they are having a Battlegrounds tournament. Well, okay, so let me rephrase that. 2 days from now, the pre-Battlegrounds tournament begins, where you can go and you can vote for a team, and then every game you play in Battlegrounds between the 12th and the 21st will add to your team's points. And then on the 21st, the teams will battle it out to see who wins. So I'm kind of excited to check out and see how this Battlegrounds tournament works and see how it plays out.
Yeah, the team with the highest points contributed from the community will get, I think it was $30,000.
No, more than that.
That bonus is $30,000. The total prize pool is $300,000.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. But just for their team, whichever team gets the most community points, meaning people in their community top forward more than the other teams, those players will get a bonus of up to $30,000. And then they're going to compete on the 21st for a total prize pool of $300,000. Now, the teams, there's only 4 teams. You have the Mega Fins that have Hafu, Dog, Trump, and RDU. Yes, Hafu and Dog are playing Hearthstone again.
There's a lot of people playing Hearthstone again that swore they'd never play it again.
You have the Rabid Rangers, which is Choco Bars, Disguised Toast, Regis Kilbin, and Solar. Oh, well, I think his name is Finn from Team Solari, which is the French team. Then you have the Doombringers, which is Zalay, Firebat, Asmodai, and Surrender. Then you have the Rust Buckets, which is my favorite team name, which is Tice, Brian Kibler, Amaz, and Calento. So, of these teams, everybody's been playing Battlegrounds with the exception of Disguised Toast, who's been playing lots of TFT to practice for Battlegrounds. Regis Kilbin is killing it. Last I checked, he was ranked 18 in Americas. He finally got past, just barely past Cora.
Yep.
And his goal has been to surpass her.
If you've not been following the Regis Kilbin Cora back and forth on Twitter, it's hilarious.
Because he'll tweet her that he passed her, and if she's seen this, and then she's like, "No, I haven't seen it," and tweets another updated image of her past him because literally 2 minutes later she finished her game and passed him. I wonder what she's doing at Blizzard, because it seems like all she's doing is playing Battlegrounds to pass up. I wondered if Mike Danae wasn't like, "Hey, our first assignment for you is to just play Battlegrounds and make sure Regis Kilbin doesn't pass you." That's what it seems like. It's like that's all she does all day. Of course, that's all he's been doing all day. Regis has always been very lighthearted about the game. This is the most competitive I've ever seen him, and I've been a subscriber to his Twitch channel for 28 months now, I think. Mm-hmm. But even Amaz has been coming out of the woodwork to play. Now, personally, I don't think Amaz is very good at the game, but it'll be fun to see these kind of former Hearthstone professionals or former Hearthstone streamers that left Hearthstone to play auto battlers and now are coming back to Hearthstone because of the auto battler game.
Yes.
And this really excites me. I'm going to be all eyes and ears on the 21st to watch this. But also on the 21st, we're going to get some card drops. Because November 21st starts the reveal season. I'm assuming during this event, we're going to see lots of card reveals, which are on the schedule. The actual community card reveals from the various streamers and YouTube content creators and news medias are going to come out starting the 25th. And they go all the way until December the 4th, which is a pretty tight time to do that many cards as a dump. I mean, we've had, 32 cards, I think, so far revealed?
Something like that, yeah.
Which is a lot right out the gate. Normally we have maybe 20 by this time. But there's been no trickle. I expected some trickle last week, and I'm hoping we get some trickle this week. But so far, no card trickle. So that makes me think they're just going to dump it all out in those last 2 weeks right before the set comes out on the 10th. This is the most exciting Hearthstone has been. And the difference between now and other post-BlizzCon set releases is we're getting a new game mode. Mm-hmm. Do you think this is a lesson Team 5 is learning, is saying if we really want to capture these players to come back, we just give them something that's just not there right now?
Yeah, I think definitely they have realized that they've probably milked the ladder for all that it's worth in the last 4 years, and they've got to start doing something for player retention, mixing it up, Like you said, they're seeing more and more players leave the game, especially with the introduction of Grandmasters. You had a mass exodus of your professional players leave the game because of Grandmasters when they realized they weren't in this select group of 48 players. There's no reason for them to push as hard. So they went and found other games. And because of that, they're taking their viewers, their regular fans, with them to these other games. And so Hearthstone had this mass exodus of players, and they had to do something to get the community and the player base reinvigorated and excited. And I think Battlegrounds was a home run.
So that being said, do you think to keep these pro players invested into Hearthstone, since Battlegrounds brought them in, that Battlegrounds can be made into a competitive esport?
I don't know yet. And the reason I say that is because I don't know how you would run an event. And as of right now, you can't do a lobby of 8 players. So you wouldn't be able to do that currently.
So that brings me to my next question is, do you think that's a content we might see? Because right now we're in early access, and as of the 12th will be what they're considering open beta. It's still going to be a beta. Mm-hmm. Do you think when they're finally ready to go into a live Battlegrounds game that they maybe will allow this? And the reason I ask that is I don't know how they're doing this event on the 21st, but if all of these players are playing against each other, that would mean they internally have a way to make 8-person lobbies.
So the Innkeeper community has been lobbying really, really hard for a fireside gathering Battlegrounds mode to where people who come to your event can sign up and you can put all 8 of them in one game against each other and let them do a game of Battlegrounds. And then you could take the next 8 and start a second game with them, and you could keep going. You could start these events as you have 8 people sign up. It would make for an amazing fireside gatherings event. And
so has there been any response from community managers about those?
We are lobbying Blizzard really hard about it, and no, there has been no response other than they've said, thank you for the feedback, we'll pass this along. That's been the only response we've received.
That's something. So I think what the takeaway for me is going to be is on the 21st, I want to see how they do this event. Because I know there's going to be things like Twitch rivals that are going to contact Blizzard and be like, hey, this new Battleground mode is out. We want to do an event on it. And in the past, they just have them queue up in the live ladders and they get points based on their scores in those games. But they've also done some closed brackets before when they can make lobbies like they do with TFT. Mm-hmm. So I think this is something that's hitting Team 5 and is being requested. And just because we don't have it right now doesn't mean it's not something that they may have developed in the back end, or at least developing in the back end.
Right.
Which, if they did that, it would open up to be able to make lobbies for tournaments. Where players got to sit down, that you register at a DreamHack or something, and they do groups of 8. They randomly put you in lobbies. You compete, and then the top 4 move to the next bracket, and so forth and so on. So, I'm really hopeful that this can turn into a tournament client style mode. Maybe not for classic Hearthstone, but for the Hearthstone Battlegrounds. The most important thing to me is I'm seeing growth. And I know there's some restriction with the client and the back end and the fact that it's mobile, but they even said during BlizzCon that to make this mode, they had to change some of the engineering parameters for the game to even recognize 8 players. So that is a huge step for them to want to take. and I can't see them just limiting it to what we have now. Again, people have to remember. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, it's in beta. It's going live on Tuesday the 12th." No, that's not true. It's in early access closed beta right now. It's going into open beta, a live open beta on the 12th. It's still going to be in beta. So if you have feedback, tweet at Blizzard, tweet at Play Hearthstone, and let them know what you want to have out of the game mode. But I really think that with really good players that love this mode, like Cora and Chalky and Mike Dene. I actually played against him in one game. He is in the top 10. So the fact that they're playing this much of this game so they get ranked tells me that they really love this game and they're going to do what they can to make it competitive.
All right. So, there you go. That pretty much covers all of the news. This week's Tavern Brawl is Send in the Murlocs.
I haven't even done it.
Murlocs have taken over the tavern. Choose a class and get a deck of random class spells and a whole mess of Murlocs.
I literally have not played this yet. I forgot that there was a sorry, Joe Mag. I'm so sorry, but I forgot there was a Tavern Brawl this week because of Battlegrounds.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'll get it done.
Yeah. So, all right. So, this week we don't have a deck to really talk about. We're going to kind of talk a little more in depth about the Battlegrounds that we have done so far. And then we're going to, like I said at the top of the show, we're going to switch over and we're going to play through a Battleground. So, we've got a lot of, we've compiled, or I should say Mad at Arms has compiled a really good list of Battleground resources in our show notes, and we're going to post those for you guys to be able to look through and reference. But just kind of touching on it. So if you guys are completely unfamiliar with Battlegrounds, as Zerotio mentioned, it's an 8-player mode where they match you up, and each player gets to select a hero and each hero has its own different hero power, which affects the game you're about to play. And then you'll start in a lobby, which is Bob's Tavern, and you'll have you start with 3 gold pieces, and you can choose to buy one hero or one minion for 3 gold. You can then sell that minion for 1 gold. So that gives you the ability to buy and sell as your composition changes.
Yes.
But you'll always start by usually 9 times out of 10 you'll start by buying a minion on the first turn. The big exception is if you're playing the hero AFK, because you're AFK for the first 2 turns.
Yes.
So then the game, once everybody's had a chance to buy their minion, the first round will start, and the minions will, at this point, this is where the auto battler title comes from. The minions will fight automatically without anything from you, starting left to right. They will always attack taunts first, and whenever there is whoever's last alive is usually the winner. You can draw where all minions die at the same time, and then nobody takes damage. But if a minion survives the combat, depending on the tier level of that minion, it will add that tier score to your attack power, which is usually the rank of the tavern, and then you'll deal that much damage to the opponent.
Yes. Now, the attacks happen from left to right, and it's random whether your opponent attacks first or you attack first. Now, one thing to note is what the client does is it checks the minions from left to right, and if it has already attacked that round, it skips to the next one. So if your first minion attacks, and then your second minion attacks but dies and produces another minion, that minion that comes out of its death rattle, because it replaces its slot on the board, will attack next. So that's something to remember in the strategy is how the client looks at the attack order. And there's a lot of factors that come in. A Divine Shield's very important, because once you put Divine Shield, basically anything you do in Bob's Tavern during the tavern phase, or what they call the recruit phase, anything that happens there is permanent. If you give a minion Divine Shield during that time, it always has Divine Shield. If you give that minion +1/+1, it will continue to have +1/+1. Any buffs or modifications that happen during the attack are only during that time. So that's something important to remember. If something says that it buffs at the end of your turn, it's going to buff at the end of the recruit phase, so that means it will be permanent. Which is how you can get minions that are very, very, very large late game.
Yeah. So Matt at Arms says whoever attacks first is not always random. It's whomever has the most minions always attacks first. If both players have the same amount of minions, then it's randomized.
Oh, okay. And see, that's something again, I'm still learning this game and haven't put in as many games as I'd like to. That's one thing I love about it, is because it is kind of a learning process, which some of the top players are the ones that have learned this better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, like we said, there's most of your minions fall into tribes. So you've got mechs, beasts, demons. You've got murlocs. Let's see. I feel like I'm missing one. Mechs, demons, murlocs, beasts,
and dragons. Now, dragons have yet to.
Right.
There's not a dragon tribe. However, the amalgams are all. So if you run into a situation where something buffs dragons, the amalgams will get buffed by the dragon buffs.
Okay, so I think it's just those 4, and then you've got other neutrals and class-specific cards that will affect the different tribes.
Yes.
So tribe synergy is pretty important in Battlegrounds. There are some situations where you can go multi-tribe. But yeah,
they call that an amalgam build. Mm-hmm. And right now, currently in the game, the only way to get poisonous is on a murloc, and a lot of times it's not very effective to put it on a murloc. However, and that's using Toxfin. Right. However, amalgams can get buffed with murloc buffs, but also get mech buffs, which with a Noyo module you can give an amalgam Divine Shield. So this is the only way you can get Divine Shield and Poisonous on a minion, is using an amalgam. And then of course there's lots of other stat buffs, so +2/+2, +1/+1, +2 attack, things like that from other minions that buff various tribes. That's why amalgams tend to be very powerful. And right now the amalgams are rather under-tiered. And one of the top heroes right now gives you a 1/1 amalgam from the start of the game as his hero power.
It's Curator.
That's the Curator. Yeah. And so right now there's a lot of balancing. I don't want to call it issues, because we are in early access. And I think the reason they're issues because a lot of players are exploiting, that hero as a pick. And there's lots of tier lists out here that probably will change quite a bit.
Yeah.
We have a lot of resources in the show notes.
Yeah, and one of them, I want to give a special shout out to friend of the show, Ridiculous Hat. He has put together a really comprehensive spreadsheet. We will have a link to that. Highly recommend you go check it out. There is a lot of information in that spreadsheet.
I literally keep that Google Doc open whenever I play. Because it has information like what's the percentage that you're going to get a specific tier minion while you have a specific tier tavern, how many minions are in the various pools, what is the percentage of getting mechs based on your tier, things like that. And it's very, I literally keep it up on one of my monitors whenever I need to reference it and resource it. It also has a full list of all the minions and their tiers for every single tribe. And it is a very, very good resource. And we'll go into more kind of techniques while we do the play portion in the second half of the show.
Yeah, which I think we're about ready to get there. So I think that pretty much covers most of that. So yeah, make sure you check out the links we post in the show notes, guys. Like I said, all this information is there and available. Matt at Arms did a great job of compiling it, and so we want to share that with you.
Yeah, and furthermore, if you are part of our Patreon-only Discord that you can be part of over at patreon.com/heropower, we have a Battlegrounds section that has pinned resources for these type of resources for Battlegrounds, and they will be updated as we get more information and more pro player feedback, streamer feedback, and any additional changes that happen via patches or patch notes from Team 5 and Blizzard.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for us this week. If you are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via the audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. You can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, you can do so, as Zerotio suggested, by joining our patron-only Discord for as little as $1 a month over at patreon.com/HeroPower. And we'll see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power. Or do, because it's passive.
Yeah, there you go. Alrighty, so we are going to play some Battlegrounds today. Zerotio and I were talking before the show, and we think maybe it's better if I drive since his MMR is so high right now. And yeah, I literally have only played like 3 games so far. Okay, yeah. So I did the tutorial and 3 other games. I currently have 4 top 4s. The only win I have, obviously, is from the tutorial. So, yeah, I think I'll drive, and Zerotio can spectate, and you guys can watch, and we'll go into this together.
Yeah, I am trying to get the game launched.
It took a little while for it to launch on my system as well.
Being real sluggish. I don't know what's going on. I got some other stuff going on my computer right now. I'm going to kill my Discord.
All right, so our options for hero are Pyramad, AFK, and the Lich King.
Okay, so you can hover over the heroes and you'll see their hero powers. Yeah. Pyramad gives health buffs. Lich King gives reborn.
At
and
the
AFK,
start of next combat, give the rightmost minion reborn. And then AFK.
AFK is one of the more powerful minions. You skip your first 2 turns, but you start on the 3rd turn with a tier 3 and tier 4 minion.
I think we take AFK for this run.
I think so too. They'll give us some talking time too.
Yeah.
Because the first 2 turns. Now, one thing to remember is AFK, you basically will get no gold and can do no actions during the first 2 turns.
Correct.
However, you can freeze the board. So if you see a group of minions you like, you can still freeze the board.
Yeah. So obviously, this is usually you'll see some combination of these few minions. We got Righteous Protector, Mecharoo, and the Vulgar Homunculus right out of the gate. We could freeze this and take the Righteous Protector later. I don't think so.
Not great.
I think what we do is we just pass, and on turn 3, when we get our gold and our cards, we upgrade the tavern, and we play our tier 3 and tier 4 minions and see where we stand.
Sounds good to me. There's no end turn button. You just have to wait for the rope to go out because everybody's on the same timer.
That is correct.
But yeah, I like that idea.
All right. So this is turn 2.
And my Skype is not showing you now, so I'm having some issues, so you'll have to talk me through it. Turn 2, what minions do you have out?
We are showing Alley Cat, Mecharoo, and Vulgar Homunculus.
So Alley Cat's good because you can sell the token for a gold. Mm-hmm. But we'll probably get something pretty good or comparable on the next turn. So I think we just pass again.
Okay.
I am having some major issues getting into the game.
So we took 2 damage from the first round of combat. Looks like as though we're taking 3 damage this round. So we're at 35. But we should go into this recruit stage now with a tier 3 and a tier 4 minion. So let's start with the tier 4. And we have the Beast, Iron Sensei, and Siegebreaker. Siegebreaker is a 5/8 taunt. All of the demons get +1. We'll take that.
I like Siegebreaker.
The tier 3. Oh gosh, we have to take Imp Gang Boss. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And then we're going to upgrade the Tavern. And now we're going to use our last 2 gold to roll for some demons. I'll actually like Zubat and Spawn of N'Zoth. I'm going to freeze that board.
Yeah, I'd freeze that board. That sounds really good. Now, what I would do is I would put your Imp Gang Boss on the far left, so if it spawns any minions, they'll be buffed by the taunt.
Mm-hmm. And it did, and they all survived. So we are doing 10 points of damage to the undamaged Toki. Alright, so now we have 6 mana. We can buy 2 minions. I'm thinking about buying the Spawn of N'Zoth, and then I don't know, I guess maybe... So Zubat doesn't really help us because it doesn't affect demons. What about buying both Spawn of N'Zoth? And that sets us up for a potential triple.
I'm cool with that, yeah.
And then we're going to put both of those on the left.
Yeah.
So they attack first.
Positioning does matter, especially with Death Rattle minions. Because being on the far left means they're probably going to die first.
Yep. Alright. So, Snopped the Hyena first attack. I'll take it.
Yeah. That's big. We will probably win this one, because those 1/1s are not going to be enough. And then we're gonna do quite a bit of damage here.
Mm-hmm. Are you in where you can see now?
I'm seeing you on Skype.
Okay.
And my game's finally getting in now.
All right. So we've got a Vulgar Homunculus. I don't really care much for these. What do you think about re-rolling?
I like the Vulgar Homunculus because it's a demon.
Okay.
So I wouldn't mind purchasing the Vulgar Homunculus and then rolling again.
Nothing.
Just roll again.
Voidwalker or Wrathweaver?
Okay, Wrathweaver's really good. I would take the Wrathweaver and then freeze this board.
I can't take the Wrathweaver. I don't have enough gold.
Okay.
Just freeze it?
Yeah. I probably wouldn't have even played the Vulgar Homunculus.
Okay.
Because the Wrathweaver will get buffed when you play it. But that should be fine. I might have held the Vulgar Homunculus, but that's the only thing I would have done possibly different. We also got a Spawn of N'Zoth as an option, too. So that'll really be big.
That'll give us the triple on the spawn.
Yep.
As you guys can see, won that one. This goes pretty quickly.
Very fast.
All right, actually. So we're going to take this guy, and we're going to
take the Spawn of N'Zoth, yeah.
The spawn.
That's the spawn's going to give us a triple. Now, when you play a triple, we'll go ahead and play it on the left. You'll also get a card that lets you get
a minion
tier 3 from the next tier up.
Second Gang Boss.
So play the Wrath Weaver first on the right, then play the Imp Gang boss. It'll do a damage to us and buff the Wrath Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay. I would put the taunt, the 5/8 taunt, on the left side of the Imp Gang bosses because we want room for those imps to spawn.
Right. No, left.
Correct. And obviously, if the taunt is up, they'll get buffs. But I want the 1/1s are more important than having them be 2/1s. That's good. See, that's what we wanted to have happen. Now we noticed our opponent has Soul Juggler. We want Soul Jugglers.
Yes.
We're going with a demon build. So that might be a problem. We might have to steer off of our build based on that. That's good. Not a lot of damage, but
not a lot of damage, but we won. So, all right. Do we take the 2 Wrath Weavers for the triple?
Yeah, and I think we upgrade
the tavern and then get a 4-star.
Upgrade the tavern first. And then get the 2 Wrath Weavers, because you want to make sure to upgrade taverns so that when you play this golden...
Right.
To go ahead and play it on the right. And hopefully we can get another demon.
No demons.
But Cave Hydra is just good.
Cave Hydra is a good minion.
Because it cleaves. And I think we put it second minion next to the N'Zoth.
Okay.
So that hopefully it gets a buff from the spawning N'Zoth, and then it has a bunch of cleave damage.
Yeah.
So this is a decent build. I'm cool with that.
I am too.
That's on the far right minion, so that's good. It's going to be a while before it attacks. That's
nice.
Good, actually. Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, we win. Wow, we win and do quite a bit of damage, actually. So that's 7 plus 3, 10.
Yep, 10 damage.
Pretty good this early.
All right, so here we've got Nathrazim Overseer. Give a friendly demon +2/+2.
I think we take both demons.
The Homunculus and the Overseer?
Yes. And what we do here is we sell off our Cave Hydra.
Play the Nathrazim.
Play the Nathrazim first.
Targeting.
Buff one of the Imp Gang bosses.
Okay.
And then you sell the Nathrazim, and then let's go ahead and re-roll. Don't play the Homunculus left, just in case we get any other buffs. I don't think we need another Wrath Weaver.
I don't either.
Think that's enough.
There's another Nathrazim.
Let's grab a Nathrazim.
And buff the other...
Yeah, let's buff the other Imp Gang boss.
Okay.
And then sell the Nathrazim. And we'll roll again.
Nothing.
Roll again. Okay, now that we're good, we'll play the Homunculus.
Okay.
The reason you don't want to play him before you start re-rolling is because you want to keep the Homunculus on the board.
Right.
Because it's a taunt. So if we got other buff minions we were going to sell, we want that board space. And I can't see Twitch chat because my Google out. So let me know if anybody asks anything.
I will. I keep popping it up just to see if anybody's speaking. So, last comment was from Sergeant Teabag, reminding us that Zubot wouldn't do us any good against the demons. So
I got to get with Sergeant Teabag about some THL stuff later.
I remember we got a bunch of he's got a bunch of Divine Shield minions here.
Divine
Shield is really good in this format.
Very, very good. But our Imp Gang bosses and our 1818 is probably going to do some crazy work here. Those little 1/1s getting in the way are pretty big. That's huge.
Yeah.
I think we win this now.
I think we tie. Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, we tie.
Yeah.
If that 1/1 went into the 16-2, we would have won.
All right.
So there is some RNG basis for whether you win or lose.
Do we want to upgrade the tavern here or roll?
I think we do, because you want to get to 5.
Yeah.
Because 5 is where Mal'Ganis is. Let's go ahead and grab that Ink Gang boss. And let's play it now. Because this could give us Mal'Ganis. Because it'll give us a 5 tier. So let's see if we can get Mal'Ganis. We didn't, but the Battlemaster, the Annihilum Battlemaster, is really, really, really strong.
Okay.
A Light Fang Enforcer is good if you have an Amalgam build, but we don't. So let's go with Battlemaster.
The Annihilation, or Annihilum Battlemaster, okay?
Yes. And since we have board space, let's go ahead and play it probably in between the 2 Homunculus.
Okay.
Now, its health bonus goes up as you take more damage.
Yes.
So as we get more and more damage, it'll get bigger and bigger, and it becomes a workhorse. We want to go ahead, we want to try to shoot for triples on our Homunculus, and mainly that's so we can consolidate board space without selling any key minions.
Right.
You want to have 6 good minions on the board, so eventually we're going to sell the spawn on N'Zoth.
Mm-hmm.
But we want 6 good minions on the board, and then 1 slot open to constantly rotate in buff minions and sell them.
Right.
That's really the goal with a demon build. Funnel cakes.
So we're facing Kazmarazik again, who we've already faced. We know. There we go, splitting image. So, that's bad. He got the lucky roll.
That is bad. Well, lucky roll. I mean, it. Yeah.
I say lucky roll in that he got splitting image as his choice off of prestidigitation.
Because he set that taunt up perfectly.
Yes, he did.
I want the 10-4 to hit that taunt. There we go. We might still win this. Actually, I think we do win this.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, well, depending what comes out of this. Yeah, we win. Barely.
All right.
Those Wrath Weavers do work when they get big.
All right, so are we just rolling looking for a Vulgar Homunculus here?
I think so. No. We want to grab that Soul Juggler, like right now.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So grab the Soul Juggler, then go ahead and roll. I don't think the Amalgam is going to be worth it. I think
we're too late for the Amalgam to really start building it up.
Yeah, which kind of stinks because the poisonous on it would be good.
But do we take it to prevent somebody else from getting it?
That's a strategy, and I do like that. So let's go ahead and take it. And then roll again. I like the Crystal Weaver, so we're going to sell the spawn on N'Zoth because it's done its work. We're going to buy the Crystal Weaver, play the Crystal Weaver,
sell the Crystal
Weaver,
play the Soul Juggler,
and then the Soul Juggler on the far right because we want to stay alive as long as possible. This is where the Imp Gang bosses having room to spawn are going to be very, very important. So I would put the Annihilum Battlemaster on the far left. Actually, no. Put it just to the right of Siegebreaker to protect the Imp Gang boss from Cleave on a taunt.
So
to the right. One more to the right. There you go.
Right there.
Yep. Okay. You can go ahead and roll one more time real quick. Yeah, freeze that because of the Crystal Weaver. We need to get the Homunculus so we have space.
Yeah.
We might end up selling a Homunculus because it is a 1-star minion.
Right.
We're very unlikely to find one, so we might just have to sell it. Ooh, a Mama Bear build. This is going to be really rough.
This will be tough. We need that Mama Bear to die.
We need a Mama Bear to die. Yeah, we need a Mama Bear to die. There's just no... I think we lose this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we do. Because that right there is going to clear most of the board.
I mean, this is helping. But it's not a lot. Yeah, that Mama Bear being a 13-13.
Ooh, that's going to hurt.
Oh. This isn't... Yeah, this is a lot of damage. That's 14, 19 damage. Ooh.
Yeah.
Mama Bear builds are
All right.
ridiculous.
So do we want to take the Crystal Weaver and then look for the homunculus?
I'd rather take the Crystal Weaver and upgrade the Tavern so we can possibly get Mal'Ganis next turn if there's a next turn.
Okay.
What I would do is sell a homunculus because I don't think we're getting one now. And go ahead and play a Crystal Weaver on the far left. And we'll leave it in play since it's a 5/4. It can help pop a Divine Shield.
Should
we're
we
playing. Well, yeah, go ahead and roll once. There's nothing there. We're playing. The benefit is we're playing Akazamzarek again, so we kind of know what he has.
Right.
We know he has a taunt with Divine Shield and Poisonous, and so having the 5/4 to pop that Divine Shield is going to be very important. That's kind of the benefit of paying attention to your previous rounds, because when you face those players again, you kind of get an idea how their build is. Now, in other auto battlers, you can actually look at their boards, but you can't do that in Hearthstone, in Hearthstone Battlegrounds. I don't know if that's something they'll add in the future or not. I kind of like that you can't do it, because it gives you some kind of room for error. Venom Strike. That's
Okay.
bad. It's not.
That's
not
better than having 2018.
Yeah, splitting image is much more punishing.
Yeah.
This will be a tough one, but it's survivable. Okay, that's good.
That's not good.
We needed to hit the 23 to guarantee pretty much a win.
That's it.
Yeah, because the 2/3 is gonna the poisonous is gonna kill it, and that's probably gonna be game.
That's it. That's it. All right. Oh,
It's not bad. It's
oh,
not terrible.
look at that. We were just on the wrong side of 4 because we died at the exact same time.
Yep. So you got 5th. So your MMR went down by 24, which isn't bad.
No.
I mean, 5th. If you're going to lose, 5th is where you want to be. And your MMR adjustment really does depend on who you're playing with in your lobby. Because I've gotten 6th place before and gained MMR because I was playing against people in the top 200.
Right. Now, as you guys know, I'm a numbers guy. I love numbers, and I am just dying for this full stats button to be available. I want numbers like it's nobody's business.
They have said it is something they've already internally have information on. They just want to give the early access and the beta some time to find out what stats are most important to players. Right. Not just what they find important internally. So I like that they're waiting on this feature, but this feature is supposed to include things like more details on top 4s and total games played and total games played as specific heroes, things like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I believe that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you to those of you who joined us in chat. We greatly love having you guys here and checking out the show. And if you have any questions or comments about it, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. If you guys have any questions about Battlegrounds, feel free to send those over to us as well. And hit that subscribe button below on YouTube if you've not done so already. Give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted when we go live. And for more details, as we said about our Patreon, check it out over at patreon.com/heropower. Until next week, good gaming.
Bye, guys. Have fun in the Battlegrounds.